Check the mic and make sure it sound right.
I'm going to start this video. I'm going to show Bogie. And every time I talk, Bogie wants to talk. So that's what you hear in the background when you watch my videos. This loudmouth bird right here. I am extremely sad to say, and just talking about it hurts. Some have been wondering about Bogie, and Bogie died recently. I just found out from my wife that a family member's dog played with or whatever, and Bogie died. So I just want to honor Bogie by putting him before and after this video. Let's talk a little bit about this article here and the information in it. I got two articles actually to go over. And this one here is from yesterday. It talks about the Ripple XRP-USD rallies above $3 as XRPI and XRPR ETFs ignite $10 billion worth of inflow forecasts and 100% upside outlook. Now, if you'll recall, I did do a video earlier about this because it talks about the XRPI and the Rex Osprey XRPR exchange traded funds, and how analysts project that the price could reach 590 as regulatory momentum and institutional demand converge upon SEC approvals. Well, the Rex Osprey, as I brought out in one of my prior videos, it's this one right here. It was entitled Rex Osprey XRP ETF was great, but it was also a head fake. And I still feel that way. It's a head fake. What it is, it's financial chess, and they managed to get ahead of the anticipated spot XRP ETF offerings by adhering to the 1940 Investment Act rules as opposed to the 1933. And the 1940 investment rules were a way for them to get this out ahead of time and to collect some of the investment funds. But at the same time, it was a pilot, a test run of the type of reaction that can be anticipated when the 1933 Act actual spot ETFs holding the actual asset come out. Everything else has been a way to manipulate price and manipulate the psychology of the markets so that institutions can garner as much XRP as they can at a low price. And if you like the content I'm providing, please make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications, and then come back for more DK Will Talk About It. It says it rallies above $3. Well, right now, as we speak, it's the 6th of October. It's about 340. It's sitting at 301. But this article went on to mention of the past, we'll say price history of the last few days. I don't have to cover that because you already knew it. But nonetheless, it talks about the ETF pipeline right here, 10 billion potential inflows as institutional interest peaks. Now, institutional interest has peaked a long time ago. By the time it becomes news for us, if we haven't been paying attention, it sounds like news, but it's not. It's information that now they think they want us to know. And if you've been following me, you know that I've been touching on these type of matters. And if I can coherently bring that into this video, I will. But it goes on to say momentum for XRP's next major leg higher is being fueled by ETF speculation. Canary Capital CEO Stephen McClurg projects that the XRP-based ETFs could attract as much as $10 billion in inflows, doubling the earlier estimate of $5 billion. He referenced the first Bitcoin futures ETF that saw $1 billion in one day, predicting XRP ETFs could surpass $2 to $3 billion on day one. But what I'd like to bring out too in this article is because I mentioned the Rex Osprey, and I did the video, like I said, where I brought out this a head fake. I encourage you to watch it. I'll try to put the card up here if I remember to do so when I wrap this video up. I hope that I do. But here it talks about the spot ETF landscape of XRPI and that Rex Osprey, the XRPR. It says two funds leading the charge. Now, they were leading the charge, yes, because like I said, it was financial chess. They got ahead of the game to get some of that investment money by using a different type of criteria, we'll say, which was the 1940s Act. This article brought out the point that I brought out in my video, which was done, I guess, 2 or 3 weeks ago, whatever it said when I just clicked on it, because I don't really care what the prices are right now. I don't think you do either. But what I do know that I care about, it says provides exposure to XRP futures contracts regulated by the CFTC, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, not the SEC. That's one point I want to bring out. But here's the other point I want to bring out, and it highlights the entire point of my prior video. It says, though it positions itself as a spot exposure product, its filings clarify that holdings are not entirely direct XRP, but synthetic positions that replicate XRP returns. This nuanced distinction is key for institutions waiting on SEC clearance of pure spot ETFs that would directly hold XRP. And that was the head fake that I brought to everyone's attention. Looks like 2 weeks ago. I suggest you look at it. Matter of fact, I suggest you look at all my daggone videos, because I I think that it's only a special group that gets to hear what I'm saying, because what I'm saying has been relatively spot on and definitely cutting edge. Matter of fact, it might be leading the cutting edge in many instances if you go far enough back. I also want to talk about a similar article here by Sam Wisdom Raphael. We cover a lot of his articles. And it says, here's XRP price if XRP ETFs attract 10 billion in the first month. Now, we recall from the article that we just covered, their estimate, if it attracts the same 10 billion in the forecast, it was going to go about 590. Let's see what this article here by Wisdom Raphael brings out as a possibility here. McClurg had earlier predicted that XRP ETFs would attract around 5 billion in inflows during the first month. However, during a recent interview on the Paul Barron Network, he said he now believes that forecast might have been bearish. The Canary Capital CEO called the $10 billion target a safe bet. He highlighted his past experience launching Bitcoin futures with another firm, recalling that they brought in over $1 billion on their first day, which made them one of the top ETF launches in history. Notably, if XRP ETFs do manage to attract 10 billion in their first month, the impact on prices could be massive. This is due to the inflow to valuation multiplier. For the uninitiated, this is an effect where every dollar entering the market increases XRP's market cap by a much larger amount. Interestingly, market analyst Dom highlighted that this in May when he found that just $61 million in inflows lifted XRP's market cap by 16.6 billion. Remarkably, this translated to a ratio of roughly 272 times. Even a fraction of that multiplier, say 1/5 or 54.4 times, still suggests massive potential for the XRP price. So what's the bottom line? The bottom line is we got somebody saying 590 on the 10 billion. And then we got somebody saying even bigger figures on the XRP price. And in fact, it's right here with a circulating supply of around 60 billion tokens, $724 billion market cap would translate to a price of roughly $12 per XRP within the first month of ETF trading. So when I say they're trying to head fake you and shake you out of your XRP, I think you want to trust me on that. And I think you want to get your gorilla grip on your XRP. If you have to sell at $3 because you're skittish, don't sell everything. But in a very short period of time, you're going to be sick about that if these forecasts come to be, because they're talking about the inflows for these ETFs. In their discussion about these ETFs, they're talking about $10 billion in the first month. I want to bring your attention to another video that I did, and it had something to do with the slush fund. Let me find it here. Be patient with me right here. Is a XRP ETF slush fund on deck for next month? Well, that video brings out that there is roughly $6 trillion sitting on the side after they successfully shake everybody out who has the weak hands. So, what's my position on that? Because, see, this is not financial advice. Of all the things you have to sell, of all the things you have to let go, if you find yourself in hard times, and hard times are coming for a lot of people, if XRP is one of the assets that you hold, put it on the very back burner.
And I mean that over any other crypto asset that you hold. Will some run along lines with XRP? Potentially. But there's never a safer bet right now in the cryptocurrency exchange market than XRP as a solid, viable, promising prospect for a nice return on your money. That's all I got to talk about. This video is a little longer than I wanted it to be. Take a look at all these wonderful videos that are being done here at this channel. And if you are just now visiting, I hope you like, I hope you subscribe, I hope you hit on the notifications, and I hope you come back again. And like I said, it's a special group of people hearing what I'm saying, because if those who've been with me for a long time, they know that the things that I've been saying have been very beneficial for our paradigms, for our perspectives on financials and investing in these markets, and not just crypto markets. We were talking about gold when nobody wanted to hear about it. We were talking about the BRICS nations when nobody wanted to hear about it. We were talking about the dying dollar when nobody wanted to hear about it. And here's the thing about it. You don't think the dollar's dying? You think the dollar's still strong? Then why, when you go to the grocery store, do you have to spend $7 for a bag of chips? Why, when you go to the grocery store, do you have to spend $7 for a box of cereal? I had a conversation with some friends of mine about that. I'm gonna tell you why. Because this dollar is losing strength. That's why. So where are some safe places to put your money? That's another thing that I cover on my videos. And I encourage you, if this is your first time, like, subscribe, hit notifications, and come on back. This is DK Will Talk About It. And I'm DK Will. And I've talked about it. Have a wonderful day.
I'm going to show Bogie. And every time I talk, Bogie wants to talk.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.